college, I had a professor that showed us CrossFit.com, and I was a firefighter at the time, so I was like, I'll give it a shot. And so that was, I guess, 2009.
Oh.
It's been a little while.
Has anybody motivated you or helped you get to where you are today?
There's been a lot of people that have helped me get to where I am. Growing up, I had good parents. My childhood idol, you have no idea who this is, but was Barry Sanders. He was a really good football player. But then, everybody I get to train with every day, and we have good coaches and stuff. Like your uncle here helps us out a lot.
What sport did you do in high school?
I played baseball in high school.
Do you want your kids to do CrossFit?
I would like my kids to be active. If they want to do CrossFit, that's awesome. I'd love for them to do CrossFit, but I don't want to make them do anything. But I will make them be active, so that's kind of a lie, I guess.
And what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
Hardest workout I've ever done. There's several, but I guess the first one, the first one that comes to memory was the final in 2010, the one where I fell off the rope. I don't know if you've seen that, but
no, I
probably not. Well, YouTube that.
Okay.
My memory of the games, I was just staring at that rope, going, "Why can't you climb it?" And didn't think I'd have any problem with it. Jumped up there and I was like, wow, I've got nothing left in my arms. You're just kind of standing there, and I was like, all right, let's try to get it again. Nothing. People are trying to tell me, I don't know if you can see on the video, I'm just kind of trying to figure out what, and I wrap it a few times and it was to no avail. And just watching Graham and Spiel and all of them just kill it, and I'm like, why can't I do this? It's not, it was frustrating, extremely frustrating. And then I was just like, all right, you got to get up there once. So I went all the way up, and then when I was coming down, missed that one hand and fell straight, well, I guess about 18 feet. So, and people complain about the crash pads, but that never crossed my mind. All that crossed my mind was getting up that damn rope.
All right. So, welcome everyone to the very first episode of Pursuing Health. We're very lucky today to start out with the one and only Rich Froning, and we're here at his dad's house in Cookeville, Tennessee.
There's actually two of us, technically.
Two. Oh, yes, right?
Don't say that in front of Dad, yeah.
Both of us. We'll have to have him on, too.
You don't want that. Nobody wants that.
Maybe someday.
Not if you're doing it on healthiness, that's for sure.
Well, he does. What does he do to work out now?
He says he does his own CrossFit, moves rock and all that type of stuff. But
okay.
he just makes up projects, random projects. But he does keep moving, so I can't fault him for that. But
that's good. He does he does a lot of rowing, right?
He does. He says he does rowing. I've never really seen him row, but he says he hops on the rower. We'll see.
Okay.
I need to check the memory every once in a while and just see if there's any random spikes on the rower.
Right. Yeah, I just bought my parents a rower like a month ago, and my mom's like, I'm so happy your dad's on it, even though he only goes 500 meters.
That's the way Dad was.
Nothing.
He was like, I'm going to row. And I looked on it the one day. It was like 352 meters or something like that. I was like, hey, you're moving. Yeah. Better than nothing. Better than what you were doing.
Definitely. That's good. So what's new? What are you up to these days?
What's new? Training for the games, but training with a different purpose, being on a team. It's been good for me. It's been a lot less stressful. When I'm done training, mentally I'm done training for the day. I can be a husband, I can be a dad. So I needed that. I needed that balance. Last couple of years, I mean, you know how it is. To be good at anything, you got to be a little bit obsessive, and it was starting to take over other areas of life that I didn't need to. So having Lakeland helped that a lot. Definitely.
And so you said a little bit when you're done training for the day, you're done. But how has your day-to-day life changed?
I don't really know. I still train a lot. I still train pretty high volume. But I try to cram a lot of stuff in short amount of time, so I can either, in the middle of the day, take a break and go hang out with the girls, or I'm done by 4 or 4:30. And, can be a dad, be a husband. And so, it's just been good. Like I said, mentally, it's been a lot better. Physically, not much has changed. I'm still working out a lot. But mentally, I'm done. I don't have to think about what I need to do tomorrow, what so-and-so's doing to get better than I am at that moment. I can, last year at 7, 8 o'clock, randomly I'd be like, I need to get out on that rower. So I'd go on the rower, and now I can help give Lakeland a bath or do whatever. So it's been good.
That's awesome.
I think, my legacy for one is I always talk about my faith, and I want the biggest thing is I wanted to reach people with with Jesus and tell them about Jesus. And I think I've been able to do that, but I want to continue to do that in whatever my next endeavor is. But I just, like I said, I want to be a good role model. I grew up. Barry Sanders was my role model. You being from Michigan, I don't know if you remember Barry Sanders, but he was just a humble. He was a heck of an athlete, and I think the greatest running back of all time. But you wouldn't know it unless you saw him. He never flashy, never really did anything like that. But he was a great running back. So I just want to be a positive role model, and hopefully motivate some people to turn their life around physically, spiritually, whatever.
So what has it been like training for a team competition versus individual?
There's a lot of different pieces. We still have to you don't really know what you're going to do, just like the individual competition. So you still train individual aspects of fitness, still doing individual workouts. But we do a lot of team stuff. A lot of, like yesterday, we did a little workout we only had 5 of the people here. We were missing one of our girls, so we did a little workout where we had to carry a D-ball a mile. And we had 100 and 180. And so 2 people could carry, and we were trying to figure out. So it was good communication. We did a mile. Then we did 100 muscle-ups as a team, 200 parallel handstand push-ups, 300 GHDs weighted, and 400 wall balls, and then carried again for a mile. So, but 2 people could be working. So it was really good to just kind of figure out, make sure somebody was always moving. And so there's a lot of communication stuff that goes into that. And usually, when it's just you training as an individual, you can make stuff up on the fly. But when you have multiple people, you got to try to figure out how's the workout going to affect, each individual person. Is everybody going to get a good workout? Does it need to be a workout that's a work to rest ratio? Is there a workout that everybody's working, you're just trying to accumulate reps? There's just a lot of different pieces that go into it, which I think is kind of good. It's been challenging. I think it makes you a better, coach, better programmer, just to have those wrinkles thrown in there.
Right. What do you think, other than programming, what do you think has been the biggest challenge of preparing for a team?
You just gotta figure out how to relate to different people. Different people have different motivation. Or some people you can not really get in their face, but you can motivate them by some people are intense and other people are they've got to be babied a little bit. So it's been good to try to figure out. You work on your people skills that way too. So and then also with the programming side of it, some people can handle a lot of volume, some people can't. So that's another thing that we've been trying to mess with and take into consideration.
Nice. Very good. And then you said a little bit about this earlier, but what do you miss the least about training for individual?
What I miss least, I guess, is just the stress of it and just the expectation and it was almost like the last 4 years I was supposed to win. It wasn't I guess I kind of did that to myself, but then you also all that pressure adds every year, and just gets harder and harder every year. So it's been good for me to just kind of step back, and there's still pressure to win on the team, and there's still the stress of wanting to win, but it's not all on my shoulders. It's kind of spread out between 6 people, so that helps a lot. Regionals was just different. It was you almost felt like you didn't do anything just because the workouts are so quick. You do a little part of it and then you just sit there. And so I guess it was on when was it, Saturday, when we had to do the run, wall ball, and then the handstand walk and snatch. I mean, I worked out for a total of maybe 4.5 minutes all day. So that was just, for me, it was weird.
Very unusual.
Yeah. So I was just like, what do I do now? Do I need to, I wanted to go do something else, but I didn't want it to affect the next day and affect everybody else. So I was like, I'm going to wait. But Sunday I ended up doing something after, just because I was like, I don't feel like, mentally I felt like I'd competed, because there was just a lot of up and down. We struggled through event 3, so there was just a lot of emotional stuff going on. And so mentally you felt drained, but physically you felt I'm not sore whatsoever. So
which is weird coming out of a competition. Definitely. Did you watch any of the individual, or did you? What was that like?
Most of the time I went back to the hotel and watched it either on an iPad or whatever. It was just too hard to get out on the floor, because then I can't really watch anything. Yeah. There's just so many people there. But yeah, it was cool to watch, and it's fun now for me to actually watch and not have a we had a guy there, and Dre. he was competing as an individual, so I wanted to watch that and see, of course I wanted him to win, but it was fun to actually watch it as a spectator instead of as a competitor, because even when you're watching the other regionals, as an individual, you're still thinking about, who's going to be your competition, and now it's just like, it's not my competition, I don't care.
I mean, Rich is, in my eyes, the greatest in our sport ever, I mean, what's cool to watch about Rich is one of the strongest guys out there, and but the fact that it was like the workouts where it was like 18, 25 minutes long, and you're like, what the hell is this guy doing right behind me? And that was always what was impressive, because when you're moving that kind of mass, the amount of oxygen that you have to push.
Fat?
Yeah, right, fat boy over here. The amount of oxygen that you have to push those muscles is just ridiculous, I mean, and so it was always so impressive to watch.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey man, you too. What a good dude.